Welcome to Comic Talk, where everyone can come and indulge in all things comic related, whether it be movies, TV shows, cartoons, video games, or just comics themselves. If you love comic books, then show it by hitting that subscribe button to help this precious media that we all love thrive and flourish. I believe all the best villains are those that we can all relate to. We feel their plight, we understand their anger, and we empathize with their actions. But that doesn't mean that they are right. Just because we understand one's actions, that doesn't mean that they are condoned and justified. Nakajada, aka Eric Killmonger, is such a villain. Having fled Wakanda as a child because of his father's actions against the royal throne, he was abducted and then recruited into the ranks of the very same man that killed his parents. Under Ulysses Claw, aka Claw, he learned warfare and combat. It wasn't until years later that he found out the truth about his parents' demise. But when he did, he was filled with a new, all-consuming anger to kill the man responsible for his parents' death. Now, this is a common trope in comics. We can look at one of comics' oldest heroes, Batman, to see this. But what makes Killmonger a little different is this twist as a pariah from the land that he loves. He yearns for Wakanda and wants to see it restored to what he feels is its rightful place upon the world stage. Eric feels as though T'Challa is not a good king. How could a king who has the means to protect his people allow other nations for years to come into his country and colonize his people and pillage their resources, all while he stands by and does nothing? Which I feel anyone can understand. So, I ask you this. Is Killmonger really the bad guy in this story? Well, I'll leave that up to you, viewer, to decide that for yourself. Thanks widely to the 2018 movie Black Panther, we have learned of Eric Killmonger. We have seen the motivation of his anger and what happened to him in the end. This story arc that I will be going over today marks the time period from when he was exiled to his return home. For today, I will be going over Killmonger, a 5-issue run released in 2019 entitled By Any Means. Enjoy. Every night, he dreams the same dream of returning home and taking his rightful place at the seat of the throne, usurping the current figurehead of a king and placing Wakanda where it needs to be, at the front of the world stage. But that day will come soon. First, he must bide his time before he returns home, learn the ways of the world, become strong, and extract vengeance on those who have wronged him and used him for their own diabolical purposes. And currently, the man at the top of that list is the supervillain, Ulysses Claw, who is simply known by another moniker, Claw. Under the cover of night in a sordid part of the city, Claw awaits the arrival of an illicit delivery. Unbeknownst to him though, not far away on an abandoned rooftop, Eric Killmonger stares down the scope of a sniper rifle with a marksman-like precision. With a slow, controlled exhale, he releases his breath, while at the same time, gently pulling the trigger. Finally, years of planning will finally pay off. The man responsible for his parents' death will finally see justice. And then, blam! The rifle is kicked from his hands, which veers the trajectory of the shot off course, alerting Claw to the presence of his would-be assassin. Killmonger, badly battered, sees his target flee the scene, while his attacker places the nozzle of her gun firmly against the back of his head. Realizing the futility of the situation, he accepts his fate. And then, another voice is heard from somewhere on the rooftop, telling his attacker to spare his life. And so, she does. But not without giving him something to remember her by. When Eric wakes up, he is confronted by his attacker and her two accomplices. They call themselves Knight, Rook, and King. They explain that even though they have nothing against Eric personally, they could not allow him to kill Claw. You see, Claw works for and then is under the protection of no other than the kingpin of crime himself, Wilson Fisk. Reluctant to talk or acquiesce to the kingpin's questions, Killmonger is bagged and dumped under a deserted bridge. But before the car spins off into the night, King offers him one piece of advice. Get out of town before dawn, or you won't live to see another day. Left despondent and angry, Eric returns to his rundown apartment. But before he can wallow in self-pity, his window is shattered, shards of glass fill the air as a masked assailant tumbles into the room. Quickly, Eric lifts the turned over table and shields himself from the man's gunfire. He continues to use the desk as a battering ram. With a thumb, he rakes the man's eye and then continues to pummel him. Fueled by adrenaline, he leads the masked attacker to the jagged glass window and then proceeds to end his life in a blood-drenched rage. Reeling back from this dramatic event, Eric hits the opposite wall and then slowly slides down. Cradling his head in his hands, he calls out to the spirit, Mother Bast, for comfort. Just then, he hears that same voice that spoke from the shadows on the rooftop previously that evening. It is King, the salt and peppered hair leader of the trio. King reasons with Eric, finds out what he wants, and then offers him a proposition, stating, Fisk is your way to Claw, and my team is your way to Fisk. If Eric joins him, he will eventually get that second chance to kill the man who killed his parents. For King tells Eric he has much to learn. He has the skills, but not the know-how on navigating the intricate web known as the criminal underworld. And so, an uneasy alliance is made. Decisions chosen and a path traveled upon past the point of no return. But will Killmonger get his retribution against Claw? Will he find true friends in the most unlikeliest of places? Well, yes and no. I'll ask you this. Has anyone who worked for Kingpin eventually ended up where they wanted to be? I won't give you the answers, but I will say this. Killmonger is definitely worth the read, as I give it a high ranking of 4.5 out of 5. A really great read. Please, I encourage you to learn more about the man simply known as Killmonger. If you do, I promise you won't regret it. Please visit my YouTube channel, Comic Talk, for other videos like this one. Tap that bell icon on your way out. And oh yes, until next time, keep reading, my friends.